Welcome to the Silvan Australia podcast, where we talk everything rural lifestyle. Okay, welcome to another episode of the Silvan Australia podcast. And on this episode, we have with us Greg Everett, Product Manager for the Selecta range. And in particular, we're going to be discussing all things diesel. Welcome to the podcast, Greg. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, g'day, Nick. Look, always a pleasure to talk to you on the podcast. As Nick mentioned, everybody, look, we're going to cover all our diesel product range today, and look, it's a really extensive range. Our tank sizes cover from 50 litre right up to 2200 litre. With a range of different pumps and hose lengths and also accessories as well, Nick. And looking at as an overview of the range, look, we initially started off with a 400 litre one back in 1999, Nick, that Michael Takarico, the founder of Silvan, helped design. At that stage in Australia, there was a few diesel tanks out there on the market, but they were just bare tanks. And I suppose Michael had a look and said, well, hang on a minute, we've got pumps, diesel pumps, we've also got diesel hose, we've got diesel guns. Why don't we actually put one together and see how our customer base likes that product? Anyway, unbeknown to ourselves, we actually hit a really captive market for not only the 400, it basically, based on feedback from our customers in the rural sector, the construction sector, on farm, hobby market, and on the list goes. It basically gave us a lot of feedback to not only design different styles of tanks, but also sizes of tanks. Which is where we are today.
Yep. So, the range these days, we're going from 50 litres right up to 2200 litres and nearly every size in between. This was all taken back from feedback from end users over the years that they needed a particular size. The markets that we spread across are quite elaborate, aren't they? There's a lot of markets we cover: earth moving, contractors, roadworks, farm construction. That's just the tip of the iceberg, isn't it, Greg?
Well, it is absolutely, Nick. That I suppose they're our key markets, but then outside of that. You touched on construction, and just even considering construction for a moment, you go to, let's say, a hire company, as an example, where they've actually got a lot of hire construction equipment. Even if you just walk around the yard, there's so many machines now that they do use diesel, and that people do need diesel on site so they can continue operating those particular machines and not have any downtime. It's so important.
Yeah, most definitely. Hey, Greg, tell us, we've seen, I call it the growth of, or the rebirth of the ute, we'll say, but the well-body 4x4, four-door ute these days has really taken over Australia. So with that in mind, we developed the Cube 400 litre. Tell us a little bit about that one.
Yeah, Nick, look, we're really proud with the 400 litre diesel Cube. It's like a new generation of diesel tanks. As you said, it fits in these well-bodied utes now, and what we did, we had a lot of feedback from a lot of our customers, and what we did, we pretty much formulated or designed a product that's got all the accessories that our customers want and they need. Things like baffling of the poly tank. A tank of that size, you need to have baffling in it, so when you're operating or driving the vehicle, you have the liquid in the back of the tank, and when you're cornering or accelerating or braking, it actually slows down the travel of diesel in that tank, so you don't feel that big surge in the tray. So that was really important. Outside of that, Nick, we wanted to make sure that we could fit all the hose underneath the lockable lid. That was really important. So there was no hose exposed. So we had our 4 meters of hose, we put an auto shut-off trigger on it, but also we put a tank level indicator in there as well. So, on the go, customers can clearly see exactly how much is left in the tank and gives them the opportunity to fill up if they're going back on site again the next day. They can certainly top up at a service station. Okay, so another thing from a security point of view, because, on diesel tank theft and diesel theft is quite common. We made sure that the breather itself is underneath the lid, so you can't basically get access to that, unscrew it, and siphon diesel out of it. And also, using the lockable lid itself, that protects everything. It protects the pump, it protects the filling cap, again, the breather, but also all the other associated accessories that we use to turn this into a usable diesel cube.
Yeah, yeah. Well, in talking, you touched on baffling there. The baffle really starts from 1,000 litre and works its way down to nearly all the sizes there.
The baffling starts at 300. Okay, so we go 300, 400, 600, 800, and 1,100 litre. Now, the only difference in the baffling in that range of tanks is in the 800 litre. Keeping in mind, it's twice the size of a 400 litre square type tank, which is our squat pack type. We've got 2 baffles in that. Okay, so because of obviously the size and the weight of the diesel. But look, rest assured, when we have these baffles designed, molded into the tank itself, it really reduces the surge. Yeah. And as you could imagine, anything under 300 litre, there's not a really big demand for baffling, but as soon as you get over 300 litre, that's 300 kilos.
Yeah,
plus weight.
Yeah,
absolutely, it's very important.
Yeah. Also, Greg, tell us, look, when we design these units, we go in mind we try and match a pump to a particular tank size. So a lot of our pumps, we have a thing called a duty cycle, which determines the period of time that pump can run, as opposed to being off as well. So, yeah, we just explain a bit about, we endeavour to match the right pump to the right tank, don't we?
Oh, look, absolutely, Nick. Like, as an example, let's say, let's consider our 400 litre tank for a moment, where we've got a 40 litre per minute pump. If we have a maximum 30-minute duty cycle, that's more than enough time to basically empty that total 400 litre tank. Yeah. More than enough time. Yeah. Okay. So in saying that, for the owner, the operator, who selects the 400 litre product of choice, because he's got a few vehicles that have got maybe a couple of 50 litre tanks and maybe a 100 litre tank, that's more than enough. Okay. But for the larger construction guys or larger primary producer that has got large horsepower tractors and D9s and those sort of products, their tanks are large, and generally in construction work like that, the guys want to fill up their tanks pretty quick. They've got a big tank, it's a few hundred litres. They want to get the job done and get back out on the site to keep working. So we offer in these larger tanks, being the 1,100 litre and the 2,200 litre, we actually offer an 85 litre per minute pump, open flow. Yeah. So basically your refilling time is cut down in half, Nick.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And those pumps can certainly, the 85 litre per minute pump, I've actually tested it myself, and it runs even with the 4 metres of hose, it's still pumping out about 80 litres a minute. So it's quite incredible. It really does hoik along quite well. Greg, tell us a little bit about the accessories as well that is available in the Silvan range. So we do things like litre counters or litre meters, and also the variety of pump kits that we do as well.
Oh, look, absolutely, Nick. Look, we've got a pretty good range of accessories. Some of the ones I'll talk about today is we've got a range of bare pumps, and we've also got complete kits. When I consider the bare pumps for a moment, we've got a 40 litre, 45 litre per minute pumps. Now, our pumps, if I consider every single diesel tank in Australia, generally our pumps can be used as not only a retrofittable pump to a competitor brand product, but also it's a true replacement for the Silvan brand. Okay. We've also got one kit that's actually been quite successful for it. It's our P48. The P48 pump kit all comes in a box, and it's got a 40 litre, 45 litre per minute pump. It has your 4 metres of hose and the auto shut-off trigger. Why is it popular? Generally, out there, as far as in the rural community and also construction guys, when a pump has its life, when it's lost its zoom anymore, you've actually got a lot of wearing in the vanes and the impeller of the pump. At that stage, it could be 3, 4, 5 years down the track. And if you price up just a bare pump, that's great if you buy one. But what a lot of our customers come to us with the idea of getting this kit was because all of a sudden, after that period of 3, 4, 5 years, the hoses started to crack. The auto shut-off gun is not good anymore. So instead of paying for individual items that need to be replaced, you buy it all in a kit. And that kit contains everything that you need to basically replenish or update an existing diesel tank out there in the market. It doesn't necessarily have to be a Silvan. It can be any brand out there in the market.
Yeah, no, definitely. And we have a lot of sales that go into what I call the aftermarket range. And that's suits a number of different manufacturers' tanks. Yeah. So, Greg, some of the other accessories in our diesel range are litre counters as well. Tell us a little about their importance as well.
Oh, yeah, certainly, Nick. Look, litre counters have become very popular for our customers. It gives them the ability to monitor ongoing transfer of diesel out of their tanks into their machines. So, that's for various reasons, to monitor, your usage, also for tax purposes, and also keeps an eye on your diesel so that if there's potentially any thefts, you can gauge when that's where that's basically happening. Okay, but in saying that, it's also good for maintaining that your engine's running properly, whatnot. Yeah. You're not going through excessive fuel, which is I thought you'd actually point on that one, Nick, because it is important. Diesel's not cheap. It's an expensive product.
Greg, you touched on it a little bit before, but tell us a little bit more about diesel security and how important that's become over the years.
Look, Nick. Geez, even in the early days, of producing these tanks, security was a bit of an issue. Because it's a sought after product, diesel. Whether it's whether people are stealing actually diesel out of your poly tank out of the back of your utility, or even on farm for that matter, where you might have a high storage or a large storage capacity diesel tank of 1,100 litre or a 2,200 litre one. The most common used tanks out there being, let's say, a 200 litre and 400 litre tank in the back of these utilities. We've made sure that we have a range that's actually got lockable cover, lockable filling cap. The breather itself is actually hidden underneath the lid, so you can't get access to it. So there's no siphoning. So it limits that opportunity for the common thief, can I say, that could go up to one of those old steel tanks in the back of a ute, where the pump is actually exposed on the top, your breather is exposed on the top. Where they're easy access to get and actually steal the diesel out of it. Where with ours, we've come up with quite a unique design to offer the best security you can.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, Greg, where to from here? Can you tell us what's coming up in the range in terms of diesel?
Oh, look, absolutely, Nick. We're pretty excited. As I mentioned before in the start of the podcast, we've got a 400 litre diesel cube. We've now got the bigger brother, which is our 600 litre one. That's currently in stock. It's going to be released to our dealer network as we speak, and it's basically just a bigger version. It's got a bigger baffle inside in the tank itself. Comes out standard with a 40 litre per minute pump. The 4 metres of 3/4 inch delivery hose, the auto shut-off trigger, the tank level indicator. So it's basically just a larger version of the 400. But in saying that, it's similar design. You've got really good strong cutouts in the top of the tank, and of course lockable lid.
Yeah.
As an overview of the diesel cubes, Nick, it's a new generation of tank. Okay, where customers want all their hose under the lid. They want a lockable cover. They want a bit of a tougher looking design tank with as many features as quite possible. So we've got the two now.
Yep.
And anyway, we're certainly going to keep continuing with production based on the feedback from our customers.
Yeah. One of my favourite features of both the 400 and the new 600 is also the tapered forklift pockets as well that are on the bottom of the tank, where, it's near on impossible to pierce the tank. It's tapered in a manner that it will allow you to pick up the tank quite safely when it's empty and put it on the back of the ute, or full as well, where it's a tapered design and that it just lends itself for the tines to pick up the tank.
Absolutely, it's a bonus for us. When you consider the weight of these tanks, they're not light. The polyethylene that we actually put into these larger capacity tanks is a lot. The weights get up, quite considerably when you consider a 2 or 3 or 400 litre. These 400 litre, 600 litre cubes, they're a lot thicker, they're a lot stronger. So in actual fact, they're a lot heavier. Okay, so the facility of having that fork access is pretty important.
Yeah, definitely. Well, look, thanks, Greg. Thanks for that. I think we've covered it all there. And I really appreciate your time in coming on the podcast. And if anyone wants further information on our diesel range, they can head to www.silvan.com.au. And our latest buyer's guide will be on there by the time this goes to air. So head there and you can see the latest in our diesel range.
Well done. Thanks, Nick.
All right. Thanks, Greg. Thanks for coming on.